Hello and welcome back to the Fish Locker. Today I'm going to talk to you about a very simple device that can save the life of a lot of fish. This device is called a descender. Now, I've used similar devices as this for over a decade. These specific ones were sent to me by a subscriber called Lee Putman, and they've come all the way from Oregon, the Oregon Coalition for Educating Anglers. This is a Shelton fish descender. When we go fishing, one of the beauties of fishing is you don't always know what you're going to catch. Occasionally you cannot choose what bites your hook. Those fish sometimes we want to put back, whether they be on a closed season, whether they be an undesirable species, whether they're undersized. A few fish suffer badly with something called barotrauma, and that's that when you bring them up from depth quickly, their swim bladders blow, they can't equalise the pressure inside their bodies. Telltale signs of that will be like a pink balloon in their mouth, which is their swim bladder blowing inside their body, blisters down their sides and their eyes bulging out. You see all these blisters in its side? You hear them? Even if you want to return that fish, you can't, because of the pressure and the air trapped inside of its body, and also that fish has fought its way to the boat, so it's tired. Devices like this can help you save that fish's life, and I'm going to show you how. Right, I'll bring him in now and I'll show you this descender. Right, this fish is still fully fresh. Fins are up. There it is. All you do is you take this piece of wire here and put it through the fish's lip. You then lower it down over the side like this. And the weight carries the fish down to the bottom. What I'm going to do here, actually, I'm going to see if I can't position the boat on top of my line. Yeah, there we go. There. This fish is now down to 45 metres. I'm holding it at about 48 metres. Then all I need to do is go right, so my lead is now away from the fish. I'm bringing my lead up to the boat and you'll be able to see the fish there. I've put an annotation, I'm recording what I'm seeing. I'm going to put an annotation in here that you can see the fish coming back down to the bottom. This line is the fish being carried towards the bottom by the descender and then held at around 50 metres. This is where I jig the descender and start to bring it back towards the boat, while the fish slowly swims back down the rest of the way to the seabed. If I hadn't done this, it would be almost impossible for this pollock to survive and reach the seabed on its own. There you go. There's the descender. For some fish you can do that. Like I said, I took my time bringing that one up. He was still fresh, there wasn't any blisters, his swim bladder wasn't out, so that one could go back. There are other devices available other than the descenders. These are called a sequelizer, and these are for releasing generally larger fish, angrier fish, fish with harder faces and more teeth. It's like a boga grip. You grip it inside of the fish's mouth, and as this gets down to depth, hydrostatic release goes and it opens the jaws and the fishes are released. The same way that a descender will carry the fish to the seabed, these just get a tighter grip on it by gripping into its jaws like that instead of hooking into its lip. I don't use these so much because most of the fishing that I'm doing is for fish like pollock and ling. If I'm not keeping those for the table, then I can return those with a descender. But these work perfectly, and all you need to do is you can set the depth at which they release at by, this is 50 foot, and then turn it in one twitch and it goes to 100 foot, and turn it in both twitches and it goes all the way to 150 feet. You simply clip that onto your line, and when it gets down to depth it releases and the fish comes off. All you have is you have a barrel swivel on one end. Now you connect that to the clip on the end of your main line. I've attached a fast link clip so I can just attach a lead onto the bottom of that and then disconnect it when I'm not using it. This one is the Shelton fish descender. The other one that Lee sent me, this is a sequelizer. All you'll do is you will use this fast clink to be able to connect it straight onto your main line. You just open the clip up, link your line on, close it, put these grips inside the fish's mouth, and then when it gets down to depth, the hydrostatic release goes and the fish is released. So this is a sequelizer and a descender. There's 3 tips that I can give you to increase the survivability of your fish. The first one of those, and this is often the hardest to do, I know I've been there myself, is that when you hook a really good fish, you want to get that fish to the boat as quickly as possible. It's the excitement takes over, the adrenaline. You have to try and slow down. 5 meters, give it a chance to breast. 5 meters, give it a chance to fight back. You want to bring it up gradually. When I'm fishing sometimes on the wrecks and I'm in 70, 80 meters of water, I can take 6 to 8, even 10 minutes to bring a fish to the boat if I want to return it. Because by bringing it up gradually, it allows the fish to expel gas and it doesn't suffer so much with the pressure change. The next, when I get the fish to the boat, I have one of these. This is a 40 to 50 litre barrel or drum. I have fresh seawater, usually with a bait pump going inside of there. So I have a live bait tank. I have oxygenated water that I can lift the fish out of and put it straight in there. The fish has just fought all the way to the boat. It's tired, it's full of lactic acid. That allows it to calm down and get some oxygenated water through its gills. Keep it in there as you're sorting out your descender. So it's recovering as you're sorting yourself out. And the third tip is using one of these. All you want to do is get yourself ready, get it clipped onto your rod, lift your fish out, hook it onto its lip, drop it into the water and descend it down to the bottom. This fish is halfway up. Like I say, by stopping every now and again like this and letting him, there, look, see? Yeah, I know the hook's stuck into him. If it comes off anyway, it doesn't really matter. I've had a good bit of sport playing with him, and by holding it like every 5 meters and letting him have a little dive back, it lets him get rid of any air that's in him. Again, fins up so it's ready to go back, no blisters, no swim bladder, which is the main important thing. Right, through. You ready? Down you go. Clever for just a little piece of wire, isn't it? Occasionally, some fish, they do suffer, wrasse and bass suffer quite badly with this, is they can get gas trapped inside their body cavity. If you are very careful, you can use the end of your descender spike or a hook or a hypodermic needle, and all you'll do is you'll slide up underneath one of the scales round about its belly cavity and gently pop it. And then by putting it inside of a barrel of water like this, it allows it to expel all the air out. You'll see a load of bubbles come out and then it'll start to swim upright. When it's had a chance to recover, then it's time to put it back. Now this guy, he did come up quite quick, so he has got a bit of air in him. He's got a little bit of air in him. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put him in my live bait tank and try and depressurize him and then send him back with a descender. All I'm going to do is, when he's had 5 or 10 minutes in there to recover, all you do is you very, very carefully just pop them with like the end of a hook or a needle, and it allows them to dissipate all the air that's trapped inside of them. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to use a descender to take him back to the seabed. It should be all right. So you attach that to your main line. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this just through the side of his lip. Oh, it's tough. There you go. Just through the side of his lip. All you need to do is give it a couple of real good jugs. There's me happily drifting along, and when you look onto the plotter, that line that you can see coming from the top to the bottom, that's the fish being carried to the seabed. As you can see, I just gently lowered it down all the way till it got to the bottom. Gave it a couple of jigs, the fish came off, and I just wound my rig back in. There, look. So that descender's carried it all the way to the seabed where it's back to pressure. and a couple of good jigs takes it off and it stays down there and you reel your rig back up. I will link into the video description the website connected to these. You can also buy them on Amazon or eBay. They only cost a couple of pounds, and I would recommend that all small boat anglers have one of these aboard your boat. I have it on the boat at all times, and all I do is I'll just connect a different weight of lead onto it depending on the water that I'm fishing in. Quite often I use a 10 or a 12. If I'm going to be returning a ling to a wreck or something like that in 100 metres of water, I might use a 14 ounce. But when I'm returning a wrasse to the reef, it might only take 4 or 5. Everything that I try to promote as a conscientious modern angler is take only what you need and treat the rest of the ecosystem with respect and appreciation. There are fish that I catch sometimes that I want to return, and this allows me to. This simple device can save the life of a lot of fish. I hope you enjoyed joining me. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later.